Chosen one, focus deeply on every word I'm about to speak. That restlessness you've been feeling, the sense that something is unfinished, unresolved, pulling at your sleep, it isn't anxiety. It's a calling. The enemy has been working intensely this week for one reason. He knows you are close to discovering why you were truly sent here. This ends now. The confusion about your purpose, the uncertainty around your calling, the constant distraction and doubt. It ends not because the season changed, but because you've stepped into the place you were designed for. Think back to a moment this week when something inside you became quiet. You stopped arguing, stopped explaining, stopped trying to prove yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. You thought that was surrender. You thought you were giving up, but that stillness was preparation. That silence was positioning. You didn't walk away defeated. You walked away equipped. You are not here by accident. This moment was assigned to you long before you were born. You are not just scrolling. You are standing in position. Stay with this message, because what follows matters. You are about to understand what has been working against you and how to remove its influence over your mind, your peace, and your future. The last few days have felt heavy. Not exactly grief, not exactly depression, something deeper. A pressure from every side, like your life is closing in. Maybe you woke up in the middle of the night with a weight on your chest, unable to explain it. Or maybe each day has felt like resistance, like every step forward requires more effort than it should. You feel like a soldier without instructions. You sense the battle, but don't see the target. In that space, a specific lie has been repeated to you that you are not ready. The enemy has reminded you of your mistakes, your failures, your inconsistencies. He has tried to convince you that you are too flawed to carry purpose. That real warriors look different, that God made a mistake choosing you. But that is not truth. The battle was never about your past or your perfection. It has always been about your assignment. The weight you feel is not failure. It is purpose being formed within you. You are not exhausted because you are weak. You are exhausted because you've been in preparation. Those moments this week where you stayed silent, where you chose peace over reaction, where you walked away instead of engaging, you thought those were losses. But they were not. They were strategy. You were observing, learning, seeing the patterns. Every time you didn't react, you forced the enemy to reveal more of his approach. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be before a breakthrough. Now understand this when you name what's been attacking you. You weaken it. The enemy's greatest strength is not power. It's remaining hidden. He works best when his voice sounds like your own thoughts, when his lies feel like your own conclusions. But the moment you recognize it, everything changes. It's like bringing light into darkness. What was once unclear becomes visible. What once felt overwhelming becomes identifiable. You move from confusion to awareness, from reaction to control. But naming it is only the beginning. You must also understand it. Because if you only respond to symptoms, you will stay in a cycle. You will treat feelings without addressing their source. Real clarity comes when you ask, what is actually being targeted in my life? What part of my identity or purpose is under attack? This is where strategy begins. The pressure you feel is not random. It is targeted. It is intentional. And it is directly connected to how close you are to something significant. The enemy does not invest this level of effort into someone without purpose. The intensity you feel is a sign of proximity. You are near something that threatens everything working against you. Clarity, identity, direction. This is not chaos. This is a calculated attempt to stop you at the edge of your breakthrough. But now you see it. And once you see it clearly, it loses its advantage. On the contrary, this pressure is a powerful, though painful, confirmation of your spiritual value. The unseen realm is strategic. It invests energy only where there is a real threat. What darkness fears most is not religious routine, but your awakened, empowered self. When you fully understand your identity as a child of God, embrace your anointing, and step into the purpose you were created for, you become dangerous to everything working against you. Your clarity, your direction, your alignment with God's will. This is the real target, because this is the light that breaks through the deepest darkness. The pressure you feel is a sign of how close you are to breakthrough, a moment where your true identity is about to rise with power. Think about Elijah, after his greatest victory, when fire came down on Mount Carmel and 450 false prophets were defeated. One message from Jezebel pushed him into the wilderness, exhausted and ready to give up. Not before the victory, but after it. That is not coincidence. That is strategy. Picture that moment. Elijah stood in undeniable power. The sacrifice consumed, the nation witnessing God's authority, victory echoing everywhere. Then came a single message. Not an army, not a battle, just words. Yet those words hit him at his most vulnerable point, after he had poured out everything. This is how the enemy works. Not always during the fight, but after it. When your strength is drained and your guard is lowered. He waits until the moment of breakthrough passes, then sends a subtle attack, meant to undo everything. That message was not just a threat. It was an attack on identity. It carried one idea: you are alone. No one is coming. It was designed to isolate him, to make his purpose feel like a burden instead of a calling. And this is the same weight you've been feeling. Maybe not in those exact words, but in that same pressure. The sense that you're carrying something no one else understands. That you're fighting a battle others can't even see. That you've been pushing forward, believing, praying. But the people around you don't recognize the intensity of what you're facing. It's the silent battle inside you that drains your energy and clouds your vision. The loneliness of knowing you're called to more, but feeling isolated in the process. Maybe you've been dealing with deep self-doubt that sounds like your own voice, or a constant feeling of not being enough. You see others moving forward while you feel stuck. You try to explain what you're going through, but the words fall short, or you fear being misunderstood. It becomes even harder when those closest to you seem unaware. They continue with their lives, not seeing the struggle you're in. Whether they can't perceive it or are dealing with their own battles, it leaves you feeling alone in something very real. This isolation is not accidental. It's a tactic to disconnect you from support and leave you vulnerable to discouragement. But look at how God responded to Elijah. He didn't rebuke him. He didn't remind him of failure. He didn't demand strength. Instead, he sent help. He allowed him to rest. He provided for him. And then, gently, he asked, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" This wasn't correction. It was compassion. God saw exhaustion, not weakness. He responded with care, not judgment. He met Elijah's physical, emotional, and spiritual needs before anything else. When he spoke, it wasn't to shame him, but to draw him back, to help him see clearly again, to remind him of truth. You have forgotten your story. God showed him that he was not alone, that there were still thousands who had not turned away, that the picture was bigger than what he could see in that moment. This was a reset, a reminder that isolation was an illusion, and this is the truth you need to hold on to. You are not alone, no matter how it feels. Now understand this, because it will challenge how you've been seeing your life. You've been misreading your delays. We live in a world that measures progress through visible results. Open doors, recognition, quick success. And without realizing it, you've applied that same thinking to your spiritual journey. That's where the confusion begins. You've seen stillness as stagnation, silence as abandonment, preparation as failure, because it didn't match your expectations. You thought you would be further by now. You thought doors would already be open. You thought what you carry inside would already be visible and recognized. And because it isn't yet, you started questioning if it was ever real. That is the deception. Stillness is not emptiness. It is development, like roots growing deep beneath the surface, unseen but necessary. Silence is not absence, it is focus. A time where God is shaping, refining, preparing without constant explanation. And preparation is not failure, it is formation. Even when it looks slow, hidden, or uncomfortable, you expected clarity to come quickly, recognition to come easily. But real purpose is built differently. When those visible signs didn't appear, doubt crept in. You began to question the vision itself. But that is exactly where the trap is, to make you walk away before it manifests. So understand this clearly: God does not waste any season. Not the confusing ones, not the painful ones, not the ones where you felt lost, not even the ones where you felt unworthy or broken. Every season had purpose. Every moment was preparation. Everything was shaping you for what comes next. Every season has been building something within you that could not be formed any other way. This truth must become your foundation, a lens through which you revisit your past. God is not careless, He is precise. Every moment, every challenge, every period of pressure has served a purpose in shaping you. The confusing seasons, when nothing made sense, were developing your discernment and teaching you to trust what you could not see. The humbling seasons, where your pride was stripped away, were building real character, preparing you for a future where integrity matters more than image. The seasons where you felt broken were actually strengthening your resilience, deepening your dependence on God, and expanding your capacity to understand others. Even the times you felt lost were not wasted. They revealed God's pursuit of you and taught you the depth of His grace. Nothing was random. Every experience, every struggle, every moment was part of your formation. Look at Joseph. He spent years in a pit and a prison before reaching the palace. But he didn't become a leader in the palace. He became that man in the pit. The palace only revealed what had already been built. Those hidden years were not delay. They were construction. He was betrayed, sold, falsely accused, and forgotten. Yet in those moments, he learned endurance, discipline, leadership, and faith. He developed the exact strength required to carry the responsibility that would later be placed on him. The palace was not where he was prepared. It was where his preparation became visible. In the same way, your hidden season is not God forgetting you. It is God finishing you. This quiet phase is a process of refinement, like a craftsman shaping something valuable, or a blacksmith strengthening a blade through fire. This stage is forming your strength, sharpening your clarity, and preparing you for what's ahead. You are not inactive. You are being transformed. But now comes a difficult truth, one that shifts everything. The enemy is not primarily attacking your situation. He is attacking your perception. His main weapon is not your circumstances, but how you interpret them. He wants you to look at your life and see only loss, only pain, only wasted time. Because if you believe that, you will never recognize the strength that was built in those moments. This is the real battle, the meaning of your story. He wants you to see your scars as weakness instead of survival, your struggles as setbacks instead of preparation, your past as damage instead of development. Because if you misunderstand your story, you disconnect from your authority. But the truth is this: every wound you survived carries power, if you understand it. Your pain shaped strength. Your struggles built wisdom. Your experiences gave you depth that cannot be learned any other way. These are not disadvantages, they are assets. But this transformation only happens when you choose to see it correctly. Without that awareness, those same experiences can hold you back. They can feed doubt, fear, and hesitation. And this is where it becomes challenging. Because not everything you are calling spiritual warfare is external. Some of it is internal resistance. Some of what feels like opposition is actually growth. The discomfort you feel is not always attack. It is expansion. There is a part of you that is being stretched beyond what feels safe. And that tension can feel like resistance, even when it's necessary. So now the question changes. Not, what is fighting me? But, what am I holding on to? What are you protecting that you've been asked to release? Maybe it's comfort. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's the version of yourself that feels safe but limited. Growth requires letting go. And for many people with strong purpose, there comes a point where the biggest obstacle is no longer external. It's internal belief. A belief that says you're not ready. A belief that stepping forward will cost you relationships. A belief that being seen will lead to being hurt again. These beliefs feel protective, but they also hold you back. They keep you prepared, but not moving. Ready, but not acting. You stand at the edge, equipped but unmoving. This is the space of almost ready, almost confident, almost stepping forward, and almost feels safe. Because if you never fully step in, you never risk failure. But that safety comes at a cost. Because almost also means never fully becoming. This is the hidden barrier. Not your past, not others, not circumstances, but the quiet agreement you made with fear. An agreement to stay just short of full commitment. To stay where it's safe. But staying there slowly limits your purpose. Because your calling was never meant to stay at almost. It was meant to be fully lived. This is a quiet betrayal of the calling placed on your life. But that agreement ends now. Not because every fear is gone. Not because you finally have perfect clarity. It ends because remaining at the threshold is no longer an option for someone carrying this level of purpose. The assignment is too important. The timing is precise. And the version of you that keeps waiting for the perfect moment, that version must end here. so the called version of you can rise. This is not about perfection. It is about obedience. Fear may still be present. Questions may still exist. Uncertainty may still surround you. But movement does not require the absence of fear. It requires trust. You don't need full clarity. You need to trust the one who already sees the full path. Staying where you are is no longer possible, not because of pressure, but because of purpose. What you carry is meant to move. The old version of you, the one that hesitates, delays, and waits for everything to feel safe, must be left behind, and in its place rises the version that moves forward despite discomfort, despite uncertainty. This is the turning point. This is where David picked up the stone. Not after fear disappeared, not after he understood the outcome. While the fear was still there, he moved. The movement itself was the declaration. He ran toward the giant, not away from it. That step forward was faith in action. Not words, not thoughts, movement. And that is what you've been waiting to do. You've been waiting for fear to leave before acting. But fear does not leave before action. It fades through action. With every step forward, its grip weakens. What feels like paralysis right now is not permanent. It breaks the moment you decide to move. And on the other side of that movement is the life you've been sensing, but not yet living. Not a different life, but the real one meant for you. So now comes the decision, not a feeling, not a wish, a decision. A clear line in the sand that you are done seeing your life through the wrong perspective. Done calling your preparation failure. Done allowing hesitation to hold you back. This is where you stop waiting. You decide that your past did not weaken you. It built you. That your hidden seasons were not confinement. They were formation. That almost is no longer acceptable, because almost keeps you safe, but it also keeps you stuck. This decision changes everything. It means no more standing at the edge. No more delaying what you already know you're meant to step into. It is a commitment to move forward, even without full certainty. And if something inside you agrees with that, hold on to it. Mark this moment, because this is where waiting ends and movement begins. Now take a second. Place your hand on your chest and say this clearly. I am not defined by what I've been through. I am not my failures, my fears, or my past. I release every belief that told me I was too late or not enough. I let go of hesitation. I step fully into what I am called to do. I carry strength built through every season I survived. I am not approaching my purpose. I am living in it. This delay is over. I move forward now, not when I feel ready, but now. Let that settle in. Because the truth is simple. You were never meant to stay where you are. You were meant to move.